Radio Free Tatooine presents Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
Boshuda, fellow Holotable hustlers, you're tuned into Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, a.k.a. the other Sean, and sitting across the Holotable from me is Josh, a.k.a. the Golden Pop-Tart.
So it feels like right now, over the last few weeks, I've had so much plumbing fun in my house that...
Plumbing is not like a euphemism.
Oh, yeah, it's
literally plumbing fun.
Plumbing, yes. To the point of people knocking holes in walls to find where leaky pipes are. But I am finally at the point where my house is where it needs to go. And the nice part was it even made territory battles fun this time. It was a nice reprieve. I know, right?
I don't believe that's possible.
When everything else is going crazy, I'm just going to go play this game. Doesn't matter if I win or lose because I've already lost with my plumbing.
Position in the corner playing Galaxy of Heroes. I have been there. Wow. Well, that's good news.
It's great news. Yeah,
that's some silver lining, and the house is okay now.
Yeah,
so that's good. That's good. We missed you last week. So I only did a short little episode. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was like, I'll put out an episode anyways. And sometimes I do that and I can just like riff for an hour and it's nothing. And last week I was plowing through the content in air quotes because there wasn't much, but I just, it wasn't getting anywhere near the hour mark. And I thought, well, that's about enough of this. So the kids got a short episode last week, but we are back and we've got a lot to talk about this week. Punishing One,
yes,
has, as we record, just been announced. We got the kit reveal. We have concerns, so we'll talk about that. Rest in peace, Executor. Rest in peace, TIE Defender. And what else? We got that, and I feel like there was another big thing, and I totally forgot. Anakin's face.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Anakin's face.
And with a little bit of Dengar, too.
Dengar's, there were 2 facelifts this week in Galaxy of Heroes, so we'll talk about that. And just a couple other little bits that have popped up over the week. But first, very important, we need to celebrate some Blurf days. All right, this week is just bang, bang, bang. On the 18th, Jedi Knight Revan turning, do the math, 6 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. He's often cited as like the turning point where the game decided, what if we just made it absolutely bonkers? And it's hard to argue that that's not exactly what happened, because you look at characters that came out before him and you're like, all right, so he can shoot someone and apply tenacity down, or he can call an assist. They both shoot with a little reduced damage and they get evasion up. And that's the kit. Versus what we're about to do with Punishing One.
Yeah.
We'll read it and go compare the time it takes to get through that. He was the most complicated thing anyone had ever seen. SWGOH.GG had to change the way their website worked to fit all the text in his ability descriptions. It would not fit in the character page. That's something. That's
a lot. Yeah. I mean, we were talking about just Biggs and Wedge, and basically it's like shoot and then he shoots with you, that's just about it, and now you look at some of these new kits, it is not the case. I mean,
it's nuts. And as the words increase, so too does the power creep. So it's directly tied to that. And when Jedi Knight Revan came out, he wasn't just the most complex character. He was by far the best character in the game. And arguably, I mean, like, good job in many ways, because he's still quite useful.
Yeah.
Can still be used on his own as a lead. Well, not on his own, but as a lead. Fits right into a Jedi Master Luke team. Like, that's some good staying power. 6-year-old character still getting pretty heavy use. And Darth Revan as well. Like, as a leader, sure. Under Malgus, even better.
Yeah.
So that was on the 18th. On the 19th, we've got Paz Vizsla turning 1 year old. Happy birthday, Paz. Acceleration.
Soon.
It's got to be.
Yeah, I didn't see in the notes this time.
Okay, good. And then what else? On the 20th, we got a threefer. We've got General Kenobi, launched in 2016. So that is 8 years ago. We got our General. Well, we started grinding General Kenobi. That was in conjunction with the tank takedown raid, which, you know what? I'll pull it up. I'll reference it later. But I saw a poll on Reddit about the history of raids and like, what are your favorite raids and what were your least favorite raids? And they had a lot of responses. I'll see if I can find it and bring it up. Oh, there it is. Never mind. It was user was Lightning G. And it's funny. People's favorite raid out of 224 votes, 104 went to the Sith Triumvirate raid. That is everyone's favorite raid by far. Second favorite was Tank Takedown. And that just surprises me. Third with that was 37. Third with 34 was Speeder Bike Pursuit.
Wow.
And a lot of people said, well, that was terrible. Why would you vote for that? You could auto it.
Yeah.
You did not have to think. I would swap mods onto Leia, pay attention and follow the formula for her to get the big score. And then everyone else you could auto, but you certainly didn't have to move mods.
Yeah.
And it was quick. You had 8 runs, but they were quick runs. And if you didn't get a max score, nobody cared. It was what I want in a raid. And I am unabashedly a big fan of Speeder Bike Pursuit, even though when it came out, I remember writing a blog post that I didn't end up publishing because I felt like everyone else had already said what I was saying. Like all the other YouTubers and podcasters and stuff had said what I was saying. I was just putting it in a blog form. And I don't know, maybe it would have been good or healing for people to read it. I don't know. But I hated it so much. I wrote a blog about here's why it's bad. Because of this and this and this and this. And in retrospect, give me that.
I know.
It was the best time of my life.
I mean, what is it in The Office? They say, why is it that you can't remember? Well, it'd be great if we could actually know when the good old times are. And I think sometimes in this game, that's one thing too. Like if you go back to like the first Conquest where we are just deleting people with Vader and it was so much fun and easy.
We loved Conquest.
That was the good old days.
Yeah.
Man.
Conquest I have a love-hate relationship with. It gives you stuff to do and the battles are relatively quick. But all the other grindiness of it gets to be bad. But anyways, after that, with 22 votes is The Pit. 17 votes is Crate Dragon Hunt. And I kind of liked the Crate Dragon Hunt as well.
Yeah, I did too, yeah.
I think it was more of a pain in the butt with remodding and, whatever. And then very last place, Battle for Naboo with 10. 10 people that I can't for the life of me understand why that would be anyone's favorite.
Yeah, I know.
I hate it.
It's rough. I mean, it's just the time,
A year from now, maybe I'll look back and be like, God, remember how fun the Gungans were in that? Oh, that was so... I don't know.
I mean, unless the next one, every time you press a button, you get slapped or pinched. I mean, I'm not sure if that's...
You gotta wear a VR headset.
I know, right? It's one of those, I know, like when they have like the VR headsets, like they have like jackets and stuff that like simulate like getting shot. Like if I have to wear that and every time, like it just, CD, don't take that as what you should do, by the way. Please don't, but...
So back to the Blurf days.
Oh, yes.
Wow. That's the biggest derailment we've ever had during Blurf days, I bet. Mother Talzin, also on the 20th, is turning 7 years old. She came out around... I feel like... Am I misremembering? She didn't come out at the same time as Wicket. Her event and Wicket's event, like the Zeta events, those came out, I think, at the same time. Because they were like weird... limited, God, were they marquees? I don't remember. They didn't have a way to grind them except for this recurring event where you could just get 10 shards and see you next month.
Yeah.
So like people were like, hold on, this is going to take us years to get this character. And I know they had to monkey with some stuff to make that doable. But anyways, Talzin, and then 000 turning 2 years old. So happy Blurf Day, everybody. Now let's take a look at this week's upcoming in-game events, brought to you by swgohevents.com. For a complete list of past, present, and future events, swgohevents.com is a universe of info in a galaxy of heroes. Now, on the 18th, as this releases Friday, we've got Hoth Omega Battle. Gotta love it. Get your weekend started right. Get you in Omega. And then,
just one.
Just one.
Just one.
And then we have a Galactic Challenge. This will be on Endor. Bonuses for Ewoks fighting against Empire. Ewoks concerns me a little.
Yeah.
Mine are all I think almost all in relics. So it's fine, but a lot of times it's that pain in the butt where you got to use something other than Chirpa to lead because assists will kill you or something.
I know.
We'll see. On the 19th, we've got a mythic event, Pieces and Plans. We also have an assault battle. It'll be Ground War this time. On the 20th, we have Dark Sovereign. That's your fleet mastery for Leviathan. Pretty big deal. On the 21st, we have sign up for week 3 of Grand Arena Season 58, as well as another Omega Battle, this time on Dathomir, and another Galactic Challenge. We don't have details yet on where that'll be. On the 22nd, we have Defense of Dathomir, where you get your Talzin shards, right? We also have a fleet mastery of Admiral's Maneuver. That's for your Radis blueprints. And then Territory War number 347, sign up. On the 23rd, we have Duel of the Fates coming back. That's like, Duel of the Fates. Look, you work in the banking sphere. I used to work in the banking sphere. Duel of the Fates is the first and the third. It is that one day a month where, baby, we are getting paid. It is... Oh, it's a good day.
That's awesome.
It's a good day. 24th will be Territory War. Sign up for number 348, as well as a fleet mastery for Finalizer. So, pretty full week.
Yeah.
And we're not even conquesting.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple more weeks.
Yeah, after... Well, this will release on Friday, so we'll have like one more full week of chilling. And then we're going to get into it. And as we do get into it, well, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that when we get into the news. But before we dive into this week's top stories, and there are a few, a quick shout out to our fantastic Patreon supporters. If you enjoy what we do and you want to be a part of our community, head over to patreon.com/Galactic War Report. Your support makes this podcast possible, and you get access to the VIP section of our Discord server, where we talk smack about all the little scavengers in the server. It's a good time. Now then, punch it, Pop-Tart.
All right. So we do, let's start with some housekeeping a little bit. A couple different changes. One is going to be, I know you noticed it during your stream. You totally noticed that now the shield generator for the Gungans has 1 bar of health now. Did you notice that?
Absolutely, I did.
Right?
I pay attention to details. I just don't.
But yeah, so now I guess it was a hidden mechanic, and it does change a little bit. Now, gotcha. I put the wording in here. They said the adjusted mechanical interactions because they want to feel more consistent for the player. And then they put in there that Chewie's max health damage occurs against it. So somebody out there is probably going to be like, oh, that makes total sense to me. Yes, it's going to be consistent. And I'm going to say now that you get to see a little health bar on there. So that way you feel like it's just like everybody else.
Is that what Chewie is that? Is that Clone Wars Chewie?
It just says Chewie. Yeah, so it says the example says Chewie's max health damage occurs against it. So, I mean, so yeah. And it's
all right.
I guess I should have went through it and spoke as a Gungan beforehand as they announced it as well. But but no, yeah. I mean, it looks like there's a little bit of a change. I mean, we'll see how this affects things. But as a whole, it's still watching your match today. I was kind of watching just to see if there was something different that's going to happen with it. And it looks exactly the same. But
yeah,
who knows with that? So now also too, one thing that is really nice that we now have another one of Ahsoka's requirements now is going to be farmable. So we have Captain Enoch is going to be farmable again on a 20 node on light side AC. Like, but for you folks that really need your snow trooper, you can go to Galactic War Shop now and you can find it in there. So that's
certainly good. Yeah.
A little bit of a positive, but again, the last two. So we got really fortunate with, Elsbeth for her to be in Cantina. So that was great. Yeah. But man, I mean, to have 2 hard nodes at 20, no less, man.
Well, 3 now.
3. Night Trooper, 3. Yeah.
Death Trooper and Enoch.
That's right. Now I haven't checked the journey guide in a little while. We still haven't had the last requirements yet, have we?
No, we're waiting.
Yeah,
maybe by the time this comes out, but I doubt it because they just posted it today.
Yeah, they got 3 and 4 left in there. So when you look at it, I mean, wow, yeah. So I mean, at least that's 3 that we have to get now. Now the next requirements, what is that? 4, so another 8 more. So any of that new characters? Most probably not.
I don't know. They did say that there would be a light side ship, but with them releasing Punishing One this week and how infrequently they release ships, I don't think they're gonna have like a ship for us to chase.
Yeah.
Well,
let's hope not.
That's a bad word to be using. They're definitely not going to have a ship for us to be chasing.
No chasing.
But I think the ship's going to be like Ahsoka's Starfighter. Okay. I mean, it's going to be something everyone has, I'm sure. I can't think of any other ship they would do unless maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do release a new ship. That is entirely possible, but I doubt that's it. Because also you look at I know they are always increasing what is required for a Galactic Legend. You look at those first ones and you're like, wow, I wish I just had to do this.
Yeah.
Back when it was like, I got to take Raid Relic 7. Whoa. And now we're like, I got to take how many characters to Relic 9?
Mm-hmm.
But we have 2 at Relic 9, 1 at Relic 8, and 3 at 7 already. So I feel like, I mean, unless they're really blowing this out of the water, the hardest ones have been announced.
I hope so.
I think there's still a decent chance Fulcrum at Relic 9 is going to be required. I think Fulcrum is going to be required at some point because she's not required for anything. So she's going to be one of the requirements at some.
Please not Relic 9, though.
I mean, for everyone else's sake, I hope, and my own, I don't have her at Relic 9. I hope that it's not, but I'm not confident in that. But anyways, the point is, we know there's one ship.
Yeah.
We don't know any marquee characters for her, right? Or we do.
We do. We know. Yeah.
We absolutely do.
Yeah.
Night Trooper, Enoch, and Peridia. Yeah. So yeah, I really don't know.
Yeah.
It's possible Ezra. They absolutely could include that. And anyone that says, well, they've never included a conquest of, so
yeah, I mean,
that's certainly possible.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, it's not. I mean, we're at that point already where a lot of folks are going to be unlocking the first time around. So, yeah. And if she's going to be a little bit later on, I don't know. Well, I mean, we know at some point it's going to happen, but let's hope that it's not too painful. But if they do any more Relic 9s, which I was looking at Vader's for a moment, I'm like, okay, later on they did a Relic 8, so it's not unheard of to in the later ones to have it. But well, either way, I think having him farmable is just a step forward. We know then, with Balin's requirements coming, we're probably going to end up with the mothers, and then of course too with Hadi out there, so they'll have to be next. And so we're got a lot of Relic 7s to work towards here in a little bit, but so that is the other piece. Now let's talk. I called it ninja upgrades because again, it's like maybe we did hear about it somewhere, but our brains and we're seeing red from all of the fun of the punishing one. But we did have 2 upgrades. And so first off, the first one I saw was Anakin. So Jedi Knight Anakin. And again, we don't see anything anywhere. I mean, I was looking through stuff and did look through Reddit, and there was people talking about it, but in general, nothing from CG on here. So he does definitely look a little bit differently than he has before. And you said that he's had a couple facelifts in the past, right?
Yeah, I feel like Anakin, between Jedi Knight Anakin and General Skywalker, between the two of them, they've had so many updates. The more recent ones, so there's the brand new one on Jedi Knight Anakin, which is like a total rework. Before that, there was the one that moved them to where General Skywalker still is, and Jedi Knight Anakin just recently was. And then even before that, I know there was one, I can picture one of them. Gas definitely had another one because he looked like Steve from Stranger Things for a while. They just couldn't get the faces right. And so this one is even more realistic. I was saying, like, I would love it if Gas didn't get the update. Maybe I would love down the road for him to look a little more like his Clone Wars Gas. Yeah. And I know they don't go for animated style. They go for realistic style now, as evidenced by all the Rebels reworks. But maybe just like slightly shorter hair like he has in the Ahsoka series.
Yeah.
The flashbacks. That would be really cool. But yeah, this looks good. I like it. And as you pointed out, his stance is different as well. So not just his face, not just his model, but just the way he looks is different. And the one thing they always update for people, the portraits, that did not change.
No.
So.
Well, and I think he kind of looks like an action figure that just looks a little bit off, but I can still know who it is. I think, when I look at, like, does it look like, Hayden a little bit?
Yeah.
But it looks crisp and clean. And then when you actually put him out there, I mean, it's going to be like, from the back, it really looks like him. It's so, because you normally see him kind of from the side. And so I think they did a good job with just overall, like the difference in the clothing and the textures. And I'm looking at it on the PC version. So it is a little different than on my phone, but they just do a better job with the shadows, I think, than they used to. And even the lightsabers look pretty dang good. I mean, they still have those action figure hands, that don't look exactly real, but like, like I'm pretty confident, like you're going to be able to pluck that out and put one where he has another lightsaber. But
during gameplay, it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't.
I know you don't notice, but so Anakin definitely gets the upgrade now on the other one, which we're going to talk about a little bit as well for his ship. But Dengar didn't just get a ship; he got a facelift as well, and
which is surprising to me. Anakin makes sense because the Ahsoka event, he's almost certainly it's because he's going to be in the Ahsoka event, and whenever there's a Galactic Legend event, they want everyone involved to look pristine. Totally get it. Dengar?
I know.
I mean, you don't even see their faces while they're piloting anymore. They replaced it with just a portrait.
Yeah.
So I'm not complaining. I'm just surprised.
Well, I like any time that they upgrade something. I still, again, I go back to some of the best characters in this game that need an upgrade. And Dengar's really not. I mean, I just looked at his mods, and looking at his mods, I'm like, okay, this is rough. But
yeah, mine's kind of rough.
But when you look at, Padme, that would be, Amidala just happened. So that means you probably have a face scan. So
right.
Help this girl out, man.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, she looks busted.
And then again, I will take it. We'll take any upgrades that we can. I think at some point, hopefully they're going to go back with all of them to kind of upgrade. But all
right. So who are the ones that you think need upgrades the most?
The most?
I think Padme's up there. I think Jedi Training Rey.
Yep. She's really rough,
it blows
too.
my mind because there's 2 other Reys in the game with like good faces.
Yeah.
And this one is still just looking like a crow.
I think it really, really is. Padme is probably the top of the list for me. Because when I look back on some of the other ones, it just kind of, again, there's so many of them I can say, I love this one, I could love this one. But it's almost like on the opposite side. Like, I think they've done such a great job on the newer ones. Like Hadi, she looks, it's really interesting. Same thing with Morgan Elsbeth. Like, I know they don't have like a face scan, but man, they must have just a very moldable face. And like Anakin and Padme, it just doesn't. But
yeah,
but no,
I think a lot of those Rogue One characters.
That
looks silly.
Jin is just that poor girl. It is rough to say the least.
Rough day.
Rough day. Yeah. Again, I still think some of the Chewbacca's, to me, I think the hair is off. Like I was saying to you earlier that, when you look at Carsantan, I'm like, I feel like I could probably hug him and he's going to be nice and fluffy and like, the hair looks good, and so they almost look like, when you put a little bit too much gel in your hair and like you're just really trying to get it work, but then just kind of clumps out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't do that very often, but I can picture what it's like when I get soup stuck in my beard.
There you go. There you go. Or when you see it. That how about is that better?
I see it. Yeah,
when you see it with people. Okay.
I too have watched There's Something About Mary. So sure.
Yes. That's what they look like. That is all of those Wookiees is. All right. We think we might lose our PG status if
we're gone. Oh yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
So yes, well, I think that's the major news that we have. So let's talk about this wonderful punishing ship, which I put on there. Who's truly getting punished with this?
Well, I think there's a list. One is Executor is getting punished. 2 is TIE fighters in general, especially Defender. And then 3 is really all of us who are not whales, are getting quite punished. So the big news with this is Dengar's ship, a Jumpmaster 5000.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Love
so
it
much. That's the model of the ship. Just like, do you know what Slave 1? What the model of that ship is?
I do not know.
It is a fire spray. Is the model. Yeah, there might be a number on that, like a fire spray 22 or something. I don't know, but they all have goofy names when you play X-Wing miniatures. So Jumpmaster 5000, the punishing one. The big news with it though is that for the first time in a very long time, it's a ship marquee. It will not be a galactic chase. So everyone who's been hoarding crystals, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's not going to help you as directly. Not in the way that you thought. Now you can buy packs with those crystals. I mean, do what you want. Treat yourself.
I just, I'm trying to say what I'm getting in my head here as it comes out, not very well, but we're so used to the chase. I mean, even kind of with myself on this, I'm like, all right, so I'm going to actually go harder on this chase than I ever have because it's going to be a great ship. But now you have it to where, I mean, we're going to unlock this, then have to wait. Then after we wait, then we finally get it to unlock. And then if it is not on fleet currency, like, I mean, I'll do absolutely nothing because
it won't be. It won't be.
But
There's no way.
If it's on regular currency, like it is basically them putting salt in the wound. I mean,
oh, you mean like on a fleet node? I thought you meant like the purple like fleet arena currency. No. I was like, there's no way. Okay, yeah, but I get what you're saying.
If it's in fleet energy, I'm going to feel good because you don't. I mean, honestly, I sometimes force myself to use that type of energy if I don't really need anything. So that would be fine. But if it's in regular energy and we already have the 20s in the other ones, like, man, uncool.
The good news is it'll take so long to grind that you won't even notice the pain. You know, like we've got so many other things that like if they eat up your time first, whatever, it doesn't matter. No, but I think as we're going to go over the kit in a minute here, but a thought occurred to me that like sometimes a unit comes out that is passable at low stars. And I think there's a chance from looking over this kit that this one's going to work at low stars. It doesn't look like something you have to take to 7 stars right away. We think of some of the differences between 7-star versions of ships and lower stars. And I mean, it's often some of the like health and protection. Sure. Damage output. Sure. With capital ships, you can't upgrade all the abilities until they're 7 stars. With regular ships, you can upgrade all the abilities except for the reinforcement. And the reason that's important is this is not going to be a reinforcement.
Yeah.
You're going to want this in your opening lineup. This is, I'm looking at this Razor Crest Xanadu Blood is going to absolutely annihilate right off the bat.
Yeah.
And I just feel like this will work. This will work without maxing it out. And maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe it's going to be the speed that gets you, or some little thing, but it feels like this might just work. So anyways, without any further ado, let's take a look at this sucker. Okay. It is an attacker, of course. Key attributes. Let's go over this first. Out of turn attacks make it deadlier and faster. You know, Executor's got those.
Mm-hmm.
Well, out of turn attacks for the enemy make it even crazier, and you know, Profundity has a ton of those. So it really does punish Profundity for everything it does. Everything. Yeah. It steals stealth from enemies that try to avoid combat. Rude. And it inflicts death mark very quickly on a target. We'll go over that. The cooldown's going to sound bad, but it is not. It's going to happen in the blink of an eye. So let's see. The basic. And this will already be out by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
But here's just the rundown to
just listen.
Yeah, that's what you're here for. All right, the basic is called Quad Laser Cannon. Deal physical damage to target enemy. Deal an additional instance of damage for each of the following. 1, target is breached. That's going to happen even more often now. 2, target is marked. That's going to happen a lot. And 3, target enemy is target locked. That's going to happen all the time. Let's see. Special 1 is Disruptive Combo, cooldown of 3. This is an AoE, deal physical damage to all enemies and dispel all buffs on them. Target other bounty hunter ally gains potency up for 2 turns and is called to assist. Ally bounty hunter tanks taunt for 1 turn, and light side enemies lose 50 speed for 1 turn.
I mean,
which can't be evaded or resisted. So, good night, Rebel Fleet. 50 speed. Special 2 is Wanted Dead. Because
no alive.
He doesn't take prisoners. Cooldown is 9, right? So you think, all right, well, there's a counter. As long as I can take care of him before 9 turns. No, buddy, no. Deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict the enemy with death mark, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted for 2 turns. Inflict breach on all enemies for 1 turn, which can't be resisted. Punishing 1 recovers 100% health. This ability can't be evaded, and it starts on that cooldown of 9. However, the unique Jumpmaster 5000 is at the start of battle or when reinforced, punishing 1 gains 3 speed per bounty hunter ally and 6 speed per light side enemy, including capital ships. Whenever punishing 1 is called to assist by a bounty hunter ally, which Razor Crest and Xanadu Blood can both do.
Mm-hmm.
If the enemy had buff immunity or marked, stun them for 1 turn, which can't be resisted. Whenever an enemy attacks out of turn, reduce the cooldown of Wanted Dead by 1. So you can already see that dropping, right? Mm-hmm. But it's tripled if they are light side. So 1 attack and everyone assists, and boom, you're death marking next turn. It's that fast.
Yeah.
It's lightning fast. Whenever an enemy attacks punishing 1 out of turn, it recovers 10% health and protection. Cool. At the start of battle, if punishing 1 is deployed, and all allies are bounty hunters, excluding the capital ship, of course, enemy Imperial TIE fighter ships lose 200% crit chance and evasion for the rest of the encounter. The ally Empire capital ship gains 5 speed. Ally bounty hunter attackers gain 100% bonus protection for 1 turn. And punishing one dispels all debuffs on itself and ignores taunt on its first turn. It gets worse. At the start of the enemy capital ship's turn, all enemies lose 100% crit damage until the end of the turn. Whenever an enemy gains stealth, dispel it. Inflict breach on themselves for 1 turn, which can't be resisted, and punishing one stealths for 1 turn. While punishing one is active, breached enemies, which is all of them, all the time, have minus 25 health and protection recovery. Enemies with Deathmark can't recover health and protection. And whenever an enemy with Deathmark is defeated, all bounty hunter allies gain 100% defense for 1 turn and recover 100% protection. And then the reinforcement is called Skip Tracer. It doesn't matter what
it doesn't matter. I was going to say the same.
I read it thinking, fine, I'll read this. It's stupid. Punishing one comes in and gains defense penetration up for 2 turns. Target enemy is inflicted with buff immunity for 1 turn, and it can't be evaded or resisted. You're never going to see it. It doesn't matter. This is like the best ship in the game.
You think so?
It's insane. I've never seen. I'm really gonna try and not just be kind of hyperbolic about this, but I don't think I've ever seen a ship come out that is going to affect the meta as much as this, besides a capital ship.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously capital ships do a lot. This was supposed to be a lifter for Executor. This is a complete transformation for Executor. Profundity does not stand a chance. It's not like it's not like it pulls it up to the level where it's going to be a good match now, because Executor could already counter Profundity. It's not a lock, but it can happen. Profundity was it's pretty much a lock.
Yeah,
you're gonna beat Executor if you're piloting it. Now with this, I cannot see Profundity ever winning against Executor again. Those days are gone. Unless they don't have punishing one. I mean, that's the only way. And all those abilities that I read, like none of them require that this be 7-star and like have big damage and like blah blah blah. No, this ship just has to exist, and suddenly your whole bounty hunter fleet is absolute killers.
Yeah. I mean, it really is kind of like weird in some ways that this is just going to be a marquee ship that is just going to change so much. And like you said, I mean, you have to have Leviathan at this point. I mean, I think that with this ship, if you do not have Leviathan, I mean, there's no way if you put this on defense that, I mean, if you don't have the Leviathan, how are you going to beat this?
Mirror match is the only other thing. But I mean, this just solidifies my resolve to, like, in Grand Arena, I never, ever, 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 ever set Executor, Leviathan, or Profundity on defense, because if anything goes wrong with any of those like off meta counters, you are not getting a full clear. You are absolutely done. Like if you don't have Leviathan available and you try the Chimera counter and it goes sideways, you're done. Pack it up. And this is furthering the fact that it removes stealth whenever the opponent stealths. So I've never been good at this type of counter, but I know that there was a counter with Finalizer that could beat Executor, right?
Yep.
Not anymore. That's done.
No, yeah, definitely
completely done. No stealth, no way. Not happening. Chimera, like any TIE fighter, it loses like 500 of every single stat, you know? Like Chimera is done. the whole, like, there's no way to beat Executor except maybe a mirror match, and we'll see. That could be very sloppy. Some mirror matches are easy and some are just like a nightmare. So maybe that or Leviathan. If they also have Leviathan on defense, now what are you going to do? You know?
I know.
I mean, this is going to lead to frustrations and probably anyways, grand arenas where you just can't clear anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of players that are used to doing full clears, like me, I don't do it every time, right? Sometimes I trip up, but a lot of people are going to just have to settle for 1,500 points, 1,400 points, something like that, because I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So this is a marquee. Everyone's got access to it. If everyone has it at low stars and it works, then all right, we'll see how the dust settles. But it just feels like I said earlier on Reddit that I feel like they haven't released a ship since January with the comeuppance.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like this has a whole year of power creep baked into it. It's just like, oh God, we forgot about ships. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Put it all together. Put all your ideas together. We're going to use it for some iconic ship. Whose ship? Dengar.
Yeah.
What? Dengar is going to be the best pilot in the galaxy?
And I'm sorry, but Dengar is going to be a very hot topic of moving to Relic 9. I mean, when you think about...
Yeah, I think a lot of these bounty hunters are.
I mean...
It may be Bam. It's Cad Bane. All these guys. You're going to need, especially for Fleet Arena. No, Fleet Arena. No, it's not. It's not. Never mind. I take that back because Leviathan is still going to be top dog.
Yeah.
This just moves this into a very solid second. So it's clearly defined. The best fleets in the game are number 1, Leviathan. Absolutely. Number 2, without a doubt, Executor. And then 3 is everything else.
Yeah.
I'd say Profundity is still.
Profundity is still, 3. Yeah. Because, that still can be a beast on. Because, what do you beat Profundity with that's off meta?
I don't know. I mean, if I'm when I face the big 3 in Grand Arena, and I did this today, what I usually do is I will take Profundity in to beat Executor. I'll take Chimera in to beat Leviathan. If that fails, then I have to reevaluate, but that usually works. At that point, I can take Leviathan in and beat Profundity. So I guess ultimately, look, I'm just reversing it. I'm going to take Executor in to beat Profundity now. And then still do Chimera versus Leviathan. Nothing changes there. And then just kind of swapping them.
Yeah.
Yes. And use Leviathan to beat Executor. So I don't know. I feel like I got real heated and then I talked myself into I can handle this though.
It depends. It really is going to depend on, after it's in the wild for a moment. And, again, if you are going against when someone that has it at 7 stars and you're at 3, then maybe it's another scenario too, where, I don't know. I guess I keep on going back to the old Michigan phrase, it is what it is, but.
Yeah. This could be stupid for territory wars too. Imagine uncovering a whole sector of these things. Yeah. Just stick a fork in me. Man. All right, let's move along. It's coming. It's coming.
Get ready.
Oh man. Okay, so how did your conquest end up?
Yeah, I'm actually proud of myself. I think last time I really didn't do very well, and I didn't focus as much as I should have. And this time around, I ended up getting a gold crate, and I was pretty happy with that, just because, red wasn't going to happen, but to get 8 out of 8 for the universal feats, that was wonderful.
Yeah.
I was able to use my Night Sisters a lot easier. I mean, getting Marin up to Relic 3 really, really helped. But I think the biggest thing that I ended up doing was making sure that I had the Agony, discs.
Yeah.
I think that was a huge thing. And then being consistent on an everyday basis with it. And so I know going into this next round, my Morgan is not a wee child anymore. So she might be able to do some of those stuff a little bit easier. But
yeah.
But I mean, I'm proud of where I was. I got better. I'm not sure if I'll get better for the next one, but I think I'll be in a pretty good spot. But how about for you?
Yeah, without picking up the Conquest Pass, I was able to get gold crate. So, nice. Or red crate, sorry. It just, gone are the days of playing Conquest all willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes a plan and sticking to it. I will say some of these feats are just so frustrating. The get X amount of kills with a brand new marquee character is just, no one enjoys that. It's a drag. The decay one is dumb. I mean, Egnard's posted about it on Reddit the other day, and I couldn't agree more that it was like, the feat requires you to have bad characters, so they almost die, so they do die, and it triggers decay.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to do that over and over. So if you actually invest in these characters and have them at Relic 7, they're never going to trigger decay because they never take enough damage to,
mm-hmm.
like, poorly designed, and it takes way too much. And I skipped that feat both times because it's like, are you kidding me? No way am I going to get enough of this. But I got there. I'm at the point now. I need 100 next time around. So if I get max crate and buy 10 shards, I'll be okay.
Nice.
It's all good. Okay, quick Grand Arena breakdown. How has that been going for you?
I think you and I both had a scenario to where we won, right? So this is what happened to me is I win the first round 18-16-0.
That's a pretty decisive victory.
Right? I felt pretty good. It was a complete full clear without any problems. And what do I get for it?
I know what you get.
I got squished. So
like a bug.
I was in Kyber 3 and one-handedly and got pushed down to Kyber 4. So that was kind of the start. But I will say I went against Shavine. First round, it was a win. Like I said, 18-16-0. It really was nothing crazy. They really didn't have a tough defense. If you don't put Leia on defense, I'm going to be okay in most cases. Yeah. And so, I mean, Star Killer, I was able to use Bane against it. Lord Vader and Bo, that was easy enough. But it was kind of interesting because I've been keeping, I call her Queen P, but Amidala on on offense. I need to put her back on defense. It just, I invested so much into these characters. I wanted to use them, but unfortunately, Bosk was what was left. And so, that was easy.
Yeah.
And honestly, ships are really easy. So that was a perfect going through. Now, going into round 2, I was like, all right, I have nothing going on for the day. I'm going to be perfectly fine. I'm going to be able to take care of this. Well, work got in the way. It was bad. And so I just didn't have enough time to do anything. I ended up opening it and they were at 929 and they stopped. But I didn't have time to only do one match. So
929 ain't tough, but it does take a little time.
Yeah, but and that totally my fault. When you look at the clock, you're like, oh, for me, it's 5 o'clock is when it goes. So I'm like, oh man, that I could have won this, but hey, either way, they just kind of stopped. So I think they were maybe in the same boat. So neither one of us had a hold, and neither one of us really truly tried, but
yeah,
they tried harder, I guess. But so then going into round 3, and that was another scenario to where I open it, and when I see they only do one match and they just kind of walk away, I'm like, thank you. Like, thank you so much. Like,
love to see
this is wonderful. So again, some good stuff. I like the Kenobi mirror matches right now because it's an easy win with the mirror match, especially with the crons that are out there. So that was kind of nice. I got to use some people I normally don't get to. Phoenix was able to take down CLS. That was kind of fun. I have noticed for me, though, my Wampa still only wamps Grievous with his cron. I haven't done anything else with it, so I'm kind of disappointed in that a little bit. So I got a little bit... I will say I ended up losing to Gas, and I thought with my boss cron that I could do it, and...
Not quite.
No, it was a massacre, Davey. It was bad, and so Queen P came in, took care of it, and so we moved on. And like I said,
I want to point out that in the notes you have that Queen P cleans up gas.
Yes,
and I feel like that's like something you can't really scrub from your Google search history. That's no good.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, the definitely
ads that Facebook's going to be serving you up now. I'm telling you,
man. So the nice part is I didn't have to do ships, so I ended up getting a 1368 out of 76. So how do I counteract a new ship coming in? I just don't do them if I don't have to. So
doesn't matter.
So that was, I ended up taking 2 out of 3. That's been my record. I'm at the point right now, my lifetime is exactly 50%. I've won.
Oh, nice.
Exactly 50%. So that was kind of nice to stay above that 50 line. In this line, even though it's at 50% and that's like failing grade, to me, that's a win. So how about for you? How was yours?
So round 1, I went up against Tiali Shoma, and I streamed all 3 rounds, I believe. Yep, I did. And I got a nice win. Felt great. I too was squished down in Kyber 3 now, just like 5 points out of Kyber 2. But I tried to take out Qui-Gon Jinn with a bad batch, and that's that one got away. That's never a match that comes down to the last minute. Yeah. It's like either you're gonna do it in a couple moves or you are cooked, and I got cooked. I also failed to take out Leviathan with Chimera. I had to do a cleanup there. Not a huge deal. So I put up 18-16. It's a decent score. I didn't have any defenses. Not one. And I still won.
Interesting.
They full cleared me. First time, everything. I won by 2 points. And it's because they didn't use any undersized squads except for Wampa. So Wampa, you have to make it work.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess Bane is kind of like that too. But they even used Sith Eternal Emperor against something and used a full 5-man team. They only lost by 2 banners. If they would have picked just C and Watt, they would have smoked me.
Wow. We'll take it though, right?
A lot of that, where it was like you're using a full team against something that, buddy. So I got a win. Round 2, I went up against Le Fou, and that was not as good. I put up 1789, so like I got the clear, but there were some oopsies. Gas had a rough time against Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. I don't know, man. It just all went south. I tried with Radis. That wasn't happening. Ended up getting frustrated and used Leia on Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, which felt like overkill, but it got the job done. And then on defense, I did get one hold with Finn holding against Maldalorians. Gotta love a Finn hold.
Mm-hmm.
So I put up 1789. They only beat me by 4 points, 1793. So first round, I won by 2. Second round, I lost by 4. Third round, I go up against Freezer Fox 74. My GP is 12.2 million. Freezer Fox's is 6.2. I was like, man,
whoa,
this is gonna hurt, dude. This is really. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna like give you a win. I need this to get back into Kyber 2. I'm sorry. I got to do this. And let's be honest. You're out of your league. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You are. Nothing personal, but like, how are you here?
How?
What is going on? So, 6.2 million. I beat the snot out of that kid. I will say my profundity lost to Executor. So I'm easing into the idea that my profundity loses to Executor now.
Yeah.
That's going to become normal. And they only attacked once. I mean, they saw it. And they said, yeah, that's stupid. So they attacked my Qui-Gon Jinn and beat that and got their 63 points. And that was it. So I won 18-12 to 63. Then this week, what I just streamed, I went up against Aussie Alex 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gotta love the name.
I know, like, right? Just good.
Guess I'll throw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on it.
There's probably another Aussie that's like 1, 2, and
right. Oh man! So the only battle I lost was against Seer, and I beat everyone but Crew, and Wampa loves a tasty little Crew. So I put up 18-12. It's a good enough score to win sometimes. So we'll see. They had a much closer GP to me. It's they were less. I want to say maybe I have them by 1 million, like 12.2 to 11.2, something like that. But a lot of that was the bottom of the roster. Like, I've got a better Bodhi Rook than
I know, right?
You know? Like,
and that matters.
Who cares? So anyways, it's so good to have you back, have a full show. It's a lot bigger than last week's show, which, we got a kit, so that makes sense. And we could end it here, and it would still be a decent-sized Galactic War Report. But especially since it's been 2 weeks, man, you got to let us know. While you were curled up in the fetal position in the corner, not listening to the contractors. Who you grinding?
Yeah, so I mean, it's so funny after you don't do this for a week or so, then you start to look at how much really changed, and I'm like, man, there's some good stuff in here, but not really, But so for Ahsoka side of it, I actually looked up and I saw that Gas could automatically go to Relic 8, so he went from Relic 7 to Relic 8. He is officially done now, so. That means I have both Relic 9s and Gas now at Relic 8. So tough stuff is taken care of. We'll see what happens in the next part of it. Now, the 3 Musketeers of Death, they are basically... So Death Trooper went from 21 out of 30 up to 45 out of 65.
Oh, that's nice.
And now is ready at basically Gear 12. So he's all set to go. Now, Enoch... did get a few, actually. So we were 21 out of 30. Now we're up to 1 out of 65. Also up to Gear 11, Gear 12. And then, man, Night Trooper has been really rough drops for me. And I've had it multiple times where I got nothing for this. So we are 71 out of 85 up to 46 out of 100. Again, ready to go to Gear 12 as soon as that does end up happening. So we're getting there, right? So until the next stuff comes out, I still needed to get Ventress, Ezra where they need to go. So, but I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. Now, Balin, I've been spending so much time using all my Cantina energy on Elsbeth. So she was 56 out of 85. Now she's up to Relic 5. So a couple more. I was debating on, do I take her up to 7 or I just keep her at 5 for a little bit? Because truly looking at it, I can't really use her with the other Night Sisters. So it's really just going to be a character that's going to sit there for a moment. But we'll kind of see what happens with that. And again, we got still no Great Mother out there or Hottie where they're grindable. So they're just sitting at gear 9 and gear 8 at the moment. I'm going to get them up to the gear 12-ish and then move forward. Moving on to Conquest, I was able to finally unlock Luthen. And so he is up to a whopping gear 10 at this point. But I've decided, yeah, no, right? You know, I mean... I have decided I really want this for a Mon Mothma team. So ended up putting all the characters. Again, it's not your normal ones because I don't have Pow. Like Pow's at this point, I'm not going to go through and kind of, relic him up just for a Mon Mothma team.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was looking at kind of the teams. If I use Mon Mothma, Kyle, Katarn, Luthen, Cassian, and Cara Dune, that's taking down Jedi Master Luke. So, and Gungans. So that's what I'm going to go with. I actually did put the Omicron for Luthen on there, which is nice because it gives everybody 30 speed, mastery, 30% health, mastery, and then also 20 speed. And then if your commander dies, it automatically makes it to where it spawns a trooper. So that's not bad. And then I realized...
No, that's good.
I realized that Cara Dune didn't have her Zeta, so... gave her Zeta as well, so now she is potency friendly. So which is kind of nice. So again, it doesn't feel like a lot, but anytime you go from a 7 to an 8 feels like a good thing. And I do feel like I'm in a pretty good position moving forward until they release these next. I mean, I will say my favorites are huge because I have a lot of mod people I have in there, but also too just, man, all of these characters for the future. Usually I'm looking backwards. So
I will say that Cara Dune Zeta is a pain in the butt sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that can win you a match right there because you're just like, why won't you die?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, especially if I can use it on offense. And anytime you can take a character that I truly have never used her for offense ever. I mean, she's been in like other teams, right? But never anywhere else. But so that is all of that 2 weeks worth of stuff as well. So I got to know, because I mean, it's funny because now we're kind of doing things almost similar to each other in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
How much farther ahead are you and who you grinding?
Well, I'm not ahead. I feel like I'm looking at the numbers here and what is even happening? So Night Trooper, I took from 84 out of 85 up to 22 out of 100. So like, man, you're really, really cruising ahead. Yours is what, 46?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've had bad drop rates too, maybe.
No, it's 22 out of 100. So that's concerning. Death Trooper Peridia, aka the Nibbler, I took from 27 up to 53 out of 65. Let's see. Captain Enoch just became grindable today. I got 2 shards, so he's 28 out of 30. Balin Skull stuff. Great Mothers, because of their like little bonus thing, I went from 29 up to 29 out of 30 up to 5 out of 65. Morgan Elspeth I had at Relic 3 last week. She is Relic 6 now. I'm taking her to 7 and just figure out the rest of my life after that. Shin and Merrick, nothing to report there. I did also, for Datacron's sake, take Pow and Luthen both from Relic 3 up to Relic 5. So I've got Luthen's Datacron. I've got his Omicron. I did my Luthen Omicron last week. You just did yours. So that's done. I can use them both. So far, I have not. Since
not yet.
We've only got one round in of this week, but I haven't done it yet. I was kind of on the lookout, like, where should I use these? But whatever. For Zetas, man, I Zetaed something that I haven't done a Zeta this dumb in a long time. I gave Moff Gideon his leader Zeta. Not Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, but Moff Gideon. You know, tactical deployment, where if you deploy him with a tank, 2 attackers, and a support, the whole team gets some bonuses. You know, for all the times you use him as a lead instead of using him under a Veers lead or a Dark Trooper Moff Gideon lead. It's never going to get used, but now I have it. To be completely honest, the impetus for this was we use a bot in our guild Discord server where you can type in like, hey, what should I Zeta next? And it'll say, here's some important Zetas. Here's some situational Zetas. Here's some novelty Zetas. And it only shows the top 2 categories. So if you don't have any like required Zetas or what's the second one? I don't know. Whatever. Let's just say good Zetas.
Yeah.
Then it'll show you other things. But I kept using it, and it would always say number 1. The top category was like, here's really, really good Zetas. And it was tactical deployment. And then it would show situational Zetas, and all it is 2 Zetas for Tarful. And it would say, like, there's more, but we're not showing it because, like, why would you want to see worse Zetas? I'm like, I want to see worse Zetas. I want to see bad Zetas. Show me some options. So I said, fine. I will just deploy tactical deployment. And now I can see all kinds of crazy ideas for Zetas. And, like, it's not helpful at all. It's just something stupid I did because I'm not at the point where Zetas are meaningless, but I'm kind of getting there. I should be saving for Ezra, and I'll probably start doing that now. But this was just a stupid little fun thing. I haven't done anything this stupid since I gave Grandmaster Yoda his leadership Zeta. And you know what? I might do it for Embo. I might do it for Darth Nihilus. Who knows? I get a little crazy sometimes.
In your rhymes.
The last is Datacrons. I ended with Eathcoth, Plo Koon, and Master Qui-Gon. Gideon and Stormtrooper, which maybe I'll use that Stormtrooper one sometime. That could be on a Lord Vader team or so. I don't know. I had Zombie and Asajj, but I re-rolled Asajj into Morgan. So I'm perfectly happy to keep that.
Yeah.
Can't really use it now. She's Relic 6, so like I can, but without a Great Mother at 7-star, Relic 3, there's not a lot I can do. And then I have Pow and Luthen, which is, of course, why I took them to Relic 5. That's all we got for you this week. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend, you know what I'm going to say if we don't recommend, tactical deployment. If you want to continue the conversation, join our Discord server. It's linked in the show description. Become a real live Jawa by supporting us on Patreon, and share your thoughts by leaving us a podcast review. Big thanks also go out to Pabu Appa and swgoh.gg and swgohevents.com for providing all the hard data we misinterpret weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG be with you.